Hello, welcome to Mayday Roleplay. Thank you for joining us as we come together to tell stories of ghosts. Beloved characters created by their storytellers who have met their final chapters. We here come to bear witness to last impressions and learn to say goodbye. And this is the game known as Ghost-Fi. But before we turn our next page, some housekeeping is in order. We'd like to thank our handler-level Patreon contributors. With their involvement, it allows us here at Mayday to continue to produce and tell stories for your viewing pleasure. So thank you to Advance War Sammy, OG Pen, Bimblewart, Cameron S, Kirby's Double, Moria, Brandon C, Jonathan M, and Ren. If you too would like to contribute to Mayday, be sure to find us on Patreon. You'll get early access to releases, art, bi-monthly games run by our Mayday crew, and our Discord server built around our wonderful community there. And expect a VOD exclusive runs of Ghost-Fi by Mayday members like this one today, and a campaign diary in the near future. If you haven't heard, we've completed our third season of our Delta Green series, Doomed to Repeat, which is now available alongside our extensive catalog of completed seasons and shows on our YouTube channel for VODs, and anywhere you get your podcasts for audio-friendly versions. Be sure to join us bi-weekly on livestream for our Vampire the Masquerade campaign, Vegas by Night. And as always, follow us on all major social media platforms or our website for updates on future content and other news. We would like to thank the wonderful guests who have come to tell stories with us, top-tier creatives in the actual play and TTRPG scene, gifted storytellers, and their beloved characters. Be sure to follow their amazing work and all the things that they do in the descriptions listed on their episodes. Ghost-Fi is a game about death and grief and the complicated lives of complex characters. This actual play is intended for mature audiences, so please take care of yourself and be aware. Our players are under the guidance of safety tools, and X card can be employed at any time. And with that, let's begin. let's start off by introducing our cast today.
Hello. My name is Zakia or Zach. Both is cool. I go by they, she pronouns. And I will be playing. I'll do the regular name. I'll be playing Scivius Maeah. Today, the pronouns are she, they.
Wonderful. There is... Life's a bit of a gamble, isn't it? We take all of our adventures kind of in stride, and we hope to spend it to the fullest, but it's a gamble nonetheless. And sometimes the cards don't really end in our favor. They turn out to kind of be more of an enemy. And it becomes more of a cutthroat kind of business when all is said and done. And in those last moments for Scivius, when those cards have been put on the table, when the end comes, swift and reluctant, everything kind of fades away. No sight to be heard, no sounds to be... no sights to be seen, no sounds to be heard, no sensations or feelings. It all just kind of slips into a sense of nothingness. But a lot can be made out of nothing. And that's where we find ourselves as some form of sense returns to Scivius in this void. We reach what is known as the manifestation, a constructed space in which reminds Scivius of a place of their time amongst the living, something that can be found deep within their soul, that can be made tangible in where we find ourselves at the end. So, what does that look like for Scivius? This manifestation that gets built in this construction.
It looks like a sun-bleached, salty, driftwood made like shack, like 2-level shack, sitting on like a dock made of there's like a suggestion of red paint on the outside at one point, but it has mostly been eaten away by aforementioned salt and sun. There is always loud noise and light pouring out of this place around the clock. And that is because this place is a brothel. There's loud noises, there's beautiful people chatting, flirting, playing games. And at the top, there's sort of a loft space where she can look and see at least the PG-rated parts of the night, the joy of the guests coming in and satisfied guests leaving. She is in this space.
Beautiful. And as you are sitting in that loft in the top of this shack against the sea, what does Scivius kind of look like? What is their vestige that also takes form here?
They are pretty old. I'd say they are just reaching 300 years old, but in this time they are a little bit younger, closer to in their 230s, a little bit cuter. They are an elf. They have long pointed ears, 2 blue eyes, a series of white dots that go over their eyebrow. There's a scar that goes over their mouth. Looks like a knife, like an accident. And they have one little jewel hanging from one ear. They have this blue billowing top that buttons and makes these like bishop sleeves, a black bodice, a belt with a spell bag and a pouch, and a bunch of little trinkets that have been given to them over the years, a couple of pins and stuff. These white pants that poof out with deep pockets filled with, most of the time, dirt. Glasses and a pink ribbon that is tied around their wrist. And boots. Black pirate boots.
Amazing. Brothels are designed to provide a service to allow people to experience intimacy maybe that they can't find for themselves anywhere else. It's a private place. It's a place that that one can make something for themselves for the things that they lack. And as you are sitting in this loft area, there is no liveliness here. There is no customers who are entering to find their thrills and chills. There are no people to service them either. It is completely empty, as if final calls have been made and the building has been cleared out for the night, and it's just you in an empty space. And that sometimes can feel a little bit lonely. The party's over, all things are done, and it's just you. But as you're kind of sitting and ruminating alone, there's a moment in which you feel something, as if someone has come to occupy this space with you, someone familiar in a way. And here in this moment, your guide comes to reveal itself to you. Who or what is your guide? What form does it take while you're sitting in this loft, brooding alone?
Ooh, okay. I think there is it comes with like the smell of being in a very like deep, like stalagmite filled cave. And there sort of stumbles a small demon, like a little imp creature, also covered with similar scars. Maybe the same blade that cut her cut them. And they stumble forward, maybe a little terrified, and then recognize her. And there's, yes, you.
And as that very small little demon imp comes out of the shadows and approaches you, maybe standing right in front of you, looking up as you guys make that bit of eye contact. Let's draw our first card.
Ooh, okay. I'm using my green cards.
Ooh.
I can't look at them. That's the whole point. Okay. All right. First card.
6 of clubs. Clubs represent self, which is a personal affliction. And the 6 of clubs talks about something that is out of your control. So what for Scivius is a moment in which they felt that control was not in their hands.
Oh shit. This would be at any time in their life?
Anytime.
Okay. There is a moment of being in a sort of temple, like carved into the side of a mountain. There is a single candle in the middle of the floor and this beautiful carved mandala-like patterns. And around these patterns, people are sort of circulating in robes, praying, mumbling, and she is walking with them. But there is clearly some sort of ritual, a divination ritual, actually, that is created to sort of kick off a series of visions in her mind. And this is one of the first instances of feeling out of control, is being prompted to these visions.
Beautiful. Roll me a d4.
Okay. That is a 3.
A 3. So 3 is a partial success. Your actions is successful, but a complication is introduced. So let's talk about that. Being in this temple, being given the plethora of visions that seem unwanted at the time, how does one come to terms with being out of control, being given something that was not asked of? How do you seek? What does success look like to you in letting that go?
I think for her, there's a way to. She sees the visions, the ritual works, but the thing that she takes the most pride in is that there is a moment where she's the only one who knows the vision. And the way that she decides to communicate that to people is the success for her of, yes, there's something foreboding coming, but I will tell you how I would like you to know. If I want more attention, or I think more attention should go this way, I will put that in the vision. That kind of thing.
Beautiful. So let's roll me an additional d4, and we'll see how this complicates things.
That was another 3.
Another 3. You rolled an odd, which means that no progress will be made here today, neither success nor failure. But this will earn you a bit of spite.
Okay.
So how even in your success in being able to find empowerment of how these visions get told to those who cross your path, what complicates it? What brings a level of strife to that knowledge of empowerment, or what brings resentment or anger or frustration even to the table, despite being able to make terms with this?
That she is still doing this on behalf of the greater good, the governing body, but she's still like a tool of the state at the end of the day. And there is a inevitable separation from reality that happens when you're obsessed with the future, that she can't even begin to feel the ground beneath her feet to take control of her life. That's sort of the lost bit, just sort of floating.
Giving yourself over to a higher power comes with a lot of consequences, and a lot of things get thrust upon us when we didn't ask for that, when even destiny kind of comes a knocking and plagues you with the knowledge of the future. One over time becomes very aware that they become a piece to somebody else's grand design. And where does autonomy begin and where does autonomy end when you've been touched by knowledge that not everybody deserves to be given? And maybe there is power in sharing the future with others so that maybe they might find the autonomy elsewhere, but it still leaves a bitter weight in the chest, knowing that maybe you were able to give that to another person, but that was never something that was given to you. And as that moment of being in that cave, that single flame, that very detailed mandala on the floor kind of fades out of your view, and the manifestation returns to you. And at the foot of at your feet lay this small little demon that continues to eye at you with that little scar on its face. But as you look back at them, you are very much aware that this being possesses a level of understanding beyond capacity, a level of empathy and openness that perhaps this being never possessed in its time that you knew them in the living. But it's here, and it's with you, and it's sharing this journey and this space. So let's move on and draw our next card.
Okay. This will be... Ooh, 7 of spades.
7 of spades. So spades are items. Something personal that one keeps on them at some point in time or at all times. And the 7 of spades is 2 things. One, the 7 of spades is a power card, known as wager, which means that you are able to bet spite tokens here that you have earned in order to try to remove them. If you succeed, you'll be able to remove that spite that you've already earned if you want to wager them. If you fail, you add more spite to your tally.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely want to. I want to wager my 1 spite.
Beautiful. We'll keep that in mind as we move on. But the 7 of spades in prompt is an item hidden away in a drawer or a closet.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. Damn. Okay. So there is a particular type of magic in the world that Scivius lives in that is at this time so illegal for many, many reasons. Mostly because of the damage that it can do to your mind. And in a drawer in her office, in the back of the drawer, there are 4 spells rolled up together and tied with a braided ribbon. They are specifically for reaching out and communicating with other people through the form of nightmares. And that is this object.
Awesome. 4 spells in the back of a drawer. Roll me a d4.
That's a 1.
A 1.
Yeah.
A 1 is an absolute failure, which means that you will automatically earn yourself 1 failed progress. You will also earn yourself another spite. And because you've wagered a spite to be removed, you will also earn an additional spite. So 2 spite total, as well as a fail to your progress. So let's talk about that.
Okay.
Keeping illegal magic in your bottom drawer, in the back of a drawer. How do we? What does failure look like here? What about these spells that Scivius can't seem to break a tether for, to let these spells go? What is about that? Tell me.
There was a promise made to a very dear friend to leave these spells in the back of the drawer forever. Not to get rid of them on some other unfortunate mage or to burn them. I don't think they could burn, to just leave them. And boy, did she not do that at all. At all. They are the key to finding someone that she lost. And that is why she's having the most trouble letting them go.
Forbidden magic is very powerful to have. Because one, it's something that not everybody can obtain. It is something usually deeply personal. And to have them just sitting in the back of a drawer seems a lot like a waste of its abilities, especially when you have goals to accomplish and things to settle in your time. And perhaps in knowing that these spells are being left behind to be put into somebody else's hands, or to just not be utilized in its intentions of their design and why you've acquired such powerful spells, definitely leaves a bit of anger in its wake. You can't go back for them. You cannot bring them where you are going. And that can be just exasperating to know. And to even have them in such a mundane space as a drawer in the back, like a bauble, amongst baubles and trinkets and things like that, just almost cascaded away, despite how valuable they can be. Makes you wonder, did you even treat these spells with the same level of respect that they should have? And maybe they're part of the recklessness of a life being lived. And no matter how hard you try to shake that feeling, it just doesn't go away. It itches in the back of your mind. And every time you look left or right, something in your peripheries continues to remind you of something you've deeply lost and would do anything to get back. Wonderful.
Freakishly accurate, Eli. Oh my god.
Try to bring a little accuracy to the table where I can.
It's good. It's good.
So why don't we draw with that as you come back to the manifestation, as you seem to kind of close that drawer, knowing what its contents are, and you return back to your manifestation, and at your feet again, or maybe sitting on a nearby chair or something where they can elevate themselves a little bit higher to look at you, is this little demonic imp who peers at you with a level of understanding beyond its capacity, an open and empathetic kind of feeling that they're bearing witness to you and to your journey and to the things that maybe you even regret along the way. And with that, let's draw our final card.
Okay. This is fun. Oh my gosh. Okay. Got another nine.
The 9 of clubs.
2 clubs.
Beautiful. So again, clubs are about the self, a personal affliction. And for the 9 of clubs, that will be an unforgettable moment that brought happiness.
Oh. Yeah. Okay, yeah. There was a moment where she snuck her family into a noble's brunch, effectively, by making up a fake last name for all of them and just going with it and introduced them all of her friends as her family in that moment, and it was affirmed by not only her friends but the people that they were scamming. And in that, it became real. It was one of the first moments that I think she actually changed reality, and it didn't take the scrolls in the back of the drawer or people walking around in a ritual. It was just her deciding to trust herself in the moment.
Roll me a d4.
That's another 3.
Another 3. So that is a partial success. What does success look like here? This moment of happiness and joy, the ability to trust oneself and being able to find happiness in it.
It looked like almost like a canonization for her. Like, these people are canonized in her heart as her family. And oh my god, emotions, Jesus. And they're also canonized like in the history of where she found herself in this like hall of nobles and important people, and she did not have a place there, but there were paintings of her family crashing this party, and people spoke about it. It was recognized for years after. And it later, came out that they were not that family that they said that they were, but it was not that never added to the trauma. It was just like, oh, that's so funny, but you're here already, so you might as well stay. Yeah.
Roll me that additional d4.
That's a 1.
A 1. A 1 means that you've rolled an odd, which means that no progress is made to neither your success nor your failure. But once again, you have acclimated another point of spite. So let's talk about that. While this brought a lot of happiness, a joy, maybe even the first inklings of found family, at least even for the moment, what complicates this happy scene?
That it was probably one of the last times that I think was the last time that she felt that way. And she lived, like I said, to be about 300, and this was when she was in her 270s, 280s maybe. Yeah, this was towards the end for her.
I think for an elf, happiness can be just as fleeting as time can be, when one gets to spend almost what seems like an eternity on a plane of existence and can meet many who do not share in the longevity of that time. Maybe somewhere along the way, those simple things like finding happiness in a moment can become a little bitter, or too far in between to find substance in it. And when one gets to look back at it, at the multitude of years to be lived, to have such long spans between finding those happinesses, it can leave a burden behind in its absence. And to know that this might be the last bit of joy that has been experienced in almost 30, 40 some years, weighs can weigh heavy on the mind of, why couldn't I find happiness in between? Why did I wait to find happiness again? Why didn't one, seek it out? Is it a waste to not find joy every chance one can get. And now there's no opportunity left to find that joy again. And all joy becomes, or happiness becomes, is just distant memories that can almost be forgotten unless being put directly back into your face. And what is ultimately the greater cost of not finding or seeking every day to find little bits of joy in that journey? And it weighs on you like a heavy cloak on your shoulders, that maybe opportunities were missed when they could have been found.
Yeah.
And you're back again in the manifestation, met with a very small little imp who has been watching you this entire time, who possesses understanding beyond its comprehensions, with eyes that hold empathy and openness and a willingness to not allow you to feel alone as these moments seem to wash upon you like waves against a weathered shack near the sea. And that little imp eventually crawls down from its little precipice that it's found as it shares this space with you, and it comes down to your boots and kind of takes its little hand and seems to tug at the bottom of your pants, and it seems to be trying to lead you somewhere. Down the stairs of this building, maybe out the door to somewhere else. It wants to show you something. And where it takes you is what is known as the crossing. The crossing is a location that disperses into multiple directions. It can be like an airport or a bus, stairwells, a fork in the road. It could be like a portal of some kind, like a door or a cave entrance, pools even. It is a place where one has to sit and make a definitive decision about where to go next. So for Scivius, what is a place in which this crossing turns to? What does it look like? How does it feel to them?
There is 3 paths. One of them is a trail along the coast. Very mild, but it curves, so you can't see where it goes. There is one that is towards the mountains north, which is safer, but harder. And then there is mists over the ocean next to her on the opposite side. So there's swimming into void. An easier path, you don't know where it goes, and a rougher path that is inevitably safer.
Wonderful. So during this stage in the crossing, we take an opportunity to look at the tethers drawn and your success and failures, and see if we can come to terms with potentially letting go or holding on and remaining in a space that has been constructed by your own design. And there's 2 ways we can handle this. We can handle it simply by reflecting, by looking at how many successes and failures that have been accumulated, the spite that's been made along the way. Or we can contest it, which means that you will build a dice pool based on your successes and failures, and your spite will complicate your overall success. Scivius has acclimated no successes, 1 failure, and 4 levels of spite. So how would we like to handle these roles, or how would we like to handle these outcomes?
You said there's one where it's failure versus successes.
Yes, the contested.
And what was the first one?
Reflection. We're just going to look at what points were tallied on either side of it and talk about it and see if a decision can be made just in gentle reflection.
I don't think I have anything to roll with if it's a contest.
True.
So I do want to roll. I think that would be really fun, but it also seems like automatic failure. So I think we shall reflect.
Okay. While there was opportunities for success, there was a lot of complication that happened along the way that stayed that progress to move forward, right? And has earned you a lot of anger and frustration. So as we think about these things, as we think about the start of some of parts of your journey in which you receive those multitude of visions, where we look about the spells that you work so hard to acquire that are now sitting in the back of a drawer, a moment of happiness that was found, the last found happiness that you can recall of your time amongst the living. How does Scivius take all of these moments in? How does Scivius sit and deal with the anger that has been made from it? And is it enough for you in the end to make the decision? Because regardless of how you succeed or fail here, you as Scivius still have the ability to let all of these things go and move on. But it's still your choice in the end. But how does Scivius come to terms with all of this that has been shown to them here in the manifestation?
I think it is inevitably not that. It is always hard for them to let things go. Most of the struggle in their life has been people saying, "Hey, bud, you should move on. This is getting a little obsessive." And she goes, "Yeah, sure," and then doubles down. So I think that has led to the play that we see today, which is a lot of big swings, big gambles, and sad returns. I think meditating on the happier moments, it does sort of remind her that there's unpredictable joy, that just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not coming. And to discount it entirely is more irresponsible than believing it, like in not acknowledging it at all, or even not remembering it once it's happened. And then there's a moment of like, duh, after that, even though it has taken 300 years to get to this moment. So there's no duh. This is her epiphany. I think that same stubbornness comes back now. I don't think it's enough to let go. She sees the easy way, and she's never been a fan of the easy way.
So we've chosen to hang on a little bit longer. What road? You mentioned the easy road, which I assume is the road to letting go.
Yeah.
But for Scivius, which of these paths do they decide to take in the act of holding on?
I think they get in the water.
Get in the water. Towards the mist.
Towards the mist.
Beautiful. now that this decision has been made, we come to the epilogue of things, the last moment we see of Scivius in this ability to while they have chosen to hang on, while they've chosen to find a new path forward for them by their own making and design. What is this final reflection, of this character? What brings their story, at least here, to a notable end? How do we say goodbye to Scivius as they move to a new journey forward?
I think it is in the shedding of these obsessions that the spells in the back of the drawer. Actually, we're gonna hold on to the good one. We're gonna hold on to the good one. We're gonna leave the spells, and understand that as many choices have been made against her will, that and more so can be made by her own design, by her own desire. And for some reason, you can't be killed. So fucking floor it. Like, what's the worst that can happen? Is you die? You've done it. So it comes with a shrug. The resurrection comes with a shrug.
Being an indomitable spirit is something that can be very much an admirable thing. To have acclimated power in your own right, to find the empowerment to shape your own destiny despite the will of the divine or other forces that seem to only see you as a tool in their plots and forward. And being able to even shed the weight of moments that at this point in time no longer serve a purpose for you, allows you to look at these multitude of roads and know that you are making a decision that is intrinsically yours, that you know that you have the strength to find. And if there is a way out of this place, in this straddling of life and death, you are the one who's going to be able to find it. And as you are standing at these crossroads, your guide, the small imp who's been beside you this entire time, no longer looks like the little creature that has been sharing this journey with you. It's someone entirely different. It is a being shrouded by a hood. One cannot see its face. The only notable feature that you can kind of see is that the little bit of fingertips towards the end of their cloak that look like bits of tips of bone. And you take a moment to look at this being, and you can still feel that familiar understanding, that openness, that empathy, that understanding that what you're doing is your choice alone. And since there is no one else here, someone seems to accept the choice that you make. And it gives you this feeling of confidence in which maybe this is the right path to take. Visions be damned, spells be damned. You're going to find your way. And with that, you take those first critical steps forward over the sea and into that mist. And if you were to look behind, that figure still waits for you on that side. But it doesn't stop you from moving forward. And you continue on while this figure watches on as you continue on that path until the mist completely shrouds you and you disappear into the unknown, where hopefully you might be able to find your way back and hopefully carry these reflections back with you, so that if you so happen to find your way amongst the living again, maybe there will be new courses and paths for you to find in the end. And as that figure watches on, and slowly the parts of your manifestation begin to shed away, the shack along the sea, this brothel of transactional joy dissipate away, until there's nothing but these three roads, as the road leading along the coast disappears, as the road leading to the mountain fades away, and there's nothing left but the road heading deeper into the ocean, shrouded by mist. That too eventually fades away along with your guide. And that is where we're going to end this today. The story of Scivius. Wonderful. This is so good.
Holy fuck, Eli. You did that shit. This game is good.
Thank you.
Holy fuck. You should do TTRPG shit. You should really lean into that. I'm gonna be the first one to say it.
Thank you. Okay. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in today with us here at Mayday Roleplay. Always be sure to keep your weather eye on the multitude of amazing things that we're doing. This is one of many ghosts that are sharing stories this month in October, and certainly will not be the last. If you have enjoyed this game, Ghostfi, this was a game that I wrote in 2022 in hopes to allow storytellers to connect with their characters in unique ways, to offer an opportunity for those who have closed their chapters in the stories that TTRPGs make, to find peace and solace and catharsis in saying a proper goodbye, because sometimes we are not always given those kinds of luxuries. But if you enjoyed Ghostfi, would love to see how it works for yourself or for your wonderful table, be sure to look at the description link below, and you'll find a link to getting your own version and your own copy of this. But until then, thank you guys again for coming by and hearing this story, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, thank you.